Hello traders, welcome to the weekly outlook and setups volume 204. Iliya here. You know what we're going to be doing in this video, having a look at the market, how it developed this week, what kind of opportunities we had, and most importantly, what we can expect for the upcoming week. You know, this week was very volatile. We had a lot of news. It was very busy. So pretty much my strategy for this week was to catch a good trade on Monday or Tuesday. And then pretty much I'm currently traveling. I am also without internet. I'm in the mountains in southern Italy, so I'm using my last gigabytes to record this video for you, so make sure you're subscribed. All right. But it was a nice volatile week, and after all the news are gone right now, we still have a couple of follow-up interest rates. We still have NFP coming in. We are also getting into August, which is usually one of the choppiest months, but I have also seen it move pretty good. So as always, guys, make sure to show up every single day, execute your strategy, wait for the proper setups, and you're gonna be profitable. Okay, but of course also make sure to take some time off. So I'm gonna be going on a little sea trip. I'm currently traveling around Italy as well, so make sure that you reward yourself for all the hard work you've done. But again, never stop working, and never because if you get out of shape, then it's pretty hard to get in. And I'm currently in that little stage. Like for example, if I take like a week off or even 2 weeks off, and then I jump back to the charts, I'm like, yo, I've forgotten how to trade, right? But this is usually not the case, because you have all the knowledge, and usually it's very good to get a little bit of a refresher. Okay, so make sure to do that, because it's beautiful summer right now. Okay, so without further ado, I'm gonna be very quick in this video. Of course, I'm gonna try to be quick as I don't have a lot of internet. So we're gonna cover the market. I'm gonna show you the single trade I took, and of course, we're gonna try to forecast what is gonna happen for next week. So let's get into it. You know, we're always starting with a Dixie. Have a look at what the dollar is doing this week with all the news we had. Of course, let's first of all check out the economic calendar for next week. So we have GDP for the euro, and we have like this core harmonized index of consumer prices, which is very important. So it's going to be a very big euro day on Monday. Then Tuesday, we have interest rate decision and rate statement from RBA. And then we have manufacturing PMI from the US. Couple of NZD news right there, together with a little bit of a US. This one, not that important, I believe. And then Thursday is the day for the pound. So the pound is going to release their interest rates, their decisions, their vote hikes and cuts and all of that stuff. And then on Friday, we have RBA's monetary policy statement. Interesting, why is it not like on Tuesday? Average hourly earnings, and of course NFP and everything that goes with NFP, which is usually the average hourly earnings, some Canadian news as well. So it does look like a nice busy week. I think Monday and Tuesday could be nice, even Wednesday. All right, so the first 3 days could be amazing. Then on Thursday, of course, if you trade the pound, you gotta be careful. Okay, and then Friday, it's NFP. It's probably not gonna be tradable. So again, if I am to build a strategy for this week, it's gonna be capitalized on the first like 3 to maybe even 4 days, depending if you trade the pound, and then of course have a long weekend. Okay. So jumping onto the weekly chart on the Dixie, like the first thing I of course explore is how did the weekly candle close. Well, we have a bullish candle. It's not very strong to the upside. It's also not like showing me a lot of rejection from the upside. So kind of 50-50. And of course, you know that just to break down the structure, we had this break of structure right there. We have a supply right here. And we are also currently filling in this imbalance right there, which has been filled right now. So again, the big question comes in again. Are we going to continue pushing down, or are we going to start reversing bullish on the dollar? Okay, so it's slightly bit 50-50. We hiked the rates on the dollar by 25 basis points, at the same time saying that we might get a little bit of a slowdown. So Powell said they're going to be utilizing data in order to like determine whether they're going to have another hike. So pretty much a little bit uncertain, and you can see like how it was perceived. Like we just had like a nice push, for example. I'm not sure when was the Fed. Was it Wednesday or Thursday? I'm really not sure. But again, there was not like a very huge move, which means that it's stable. It's kind of 50-50, which is of course good. So still we are pulling back on this beautiful daily push. So the same weekly push is the same daily push as well. We're filling in the imbalance. We're above 50%. So once again, the big question comes in. Are we gonna go short? And usually the 4-hourly time frame is gonna show us. And as you can see, the 4-hourly time frame was pretty sloppy this week. Like Monday, chop. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, like it came down. And then of course we had Probably the Fed was on Thursday, because this is when we had this whoop, whopping push, right? That potentially calls like a hourly break of structure to the upside. And then here it gets slightly bit tricky. Come on. It gets slightly bit tricky right there because it looks like we had like a break, and then it does look like we have a breakdown. So again, I'm gonna throw at you two scenarios. So because for me, like this little most recent structure has shifted, but again, that does not give me a lot of confidence to actually be looking to take a short, but I just want to observe how it works out. Okay, so there is a chance the market is going to respond from here, maybe push down, and then if it has enough steam to push down, maybe it's going to reverse, but if it does not, it's going to come in again deeper inside this zone. The second scenario is maybe the market is going to come in, react, and then break, and then it's going to be all about following the hourly time frame. And then if you are overall macro bearish bias, you gotta wait for the hourly time frame to align bearish, and then of course we're gonna try to get a short and follow that daily time frame to the downside. Okay, I personally don't think enough liquidity has been grabbed from this zone, because again, usually when we tap a zone, we're gonna take like some liquidity to the left. Right there is little guy right there that was actually taken, which is good. But again, let's just see. And again, only the market will show you if it's ready. So if it comes in inside the zone, if it aligns bearish on the 15-minute, if you get a short setup, definitely. Okay, but if it like starts to show a bullishness, well then just wait for this one to break. And then again, you are gonna have two choices, because usually there's always two scenarios. You either continue with the trend, or you're gonna wait for a bearish trend change to take a short with the daily bias. Okay, so that is the Dixie. Again, those are my two scenarios. Again, just wait for Monday to open. Let's see how it develops, and of course we're gonna flow with the market. Let's check out EURUSD. So we are having a very nice pullback week on this one. Again, is it pullback? Is it reversal? We don't know yet. The thing I remember is that we have swept this high right there to the left. We kind of broke above it, and then we rejected, and right now we're having one more week of a rejection. But we're also approaching this weekly demand zone, and we're also filling in the imbalance. So pretty much inversely correlated to the Dixie. Exactly the same things are happening right there. So the question is it gonna start holding and pushing into the highs? Once again, we have that same daily range. The market is below the 50%. It reacted from the imbalance, but it still came in a little bit deeper. And if you remember, like there is that imbalance that we can definitely come in to fill, right? Because that is like the last daily imbalance. And I really like this push. I mean, this push really, it can be two things, right? Because usually the market works in two ways. Like you're either gonna have, where's the drawing brush? There it is. So it's either usually gonna consolidate, manipulate up, and then massively flush down, or of course it's gonna consolidate, massively push up, come back to retest, and continue. Right, so what is happening right now? Is this manipulation, or is this a sign for a continuation? Right, and this is what we're probably about to see this week. So again, there is a little bit more space to the downside on the daily to fill in that imbalance, and if this is filled, then we can definitely expect a potential reversal. You can see it just came right there, didn't even tap the open of the imbalance, and it started to pull back. So pretty much the most recent price action, again, like we had this kind of massive push up, then a massive push down. I'm not 100% sure which news caused this. Was it the ECB or was it the Fed? I think the Fed was a little bit earlier, so probably Thursday was the ECB. I gotta check it back. So right now, hourly structure break, right? Your hourly supply, you can draw like a very big zone like this, and this is the currently how the hourly range looks like. So technically I am short bias on the EURUSD, as I am, well, you can see the DXY looks, whoa, it looks kind of different right there, because we have like a lot of consolidation on top, and it's actually shifting bearish right now. This one is purely bearish, right? So again, it perfectly kissed the 50%, but there is a little bit of imbalance left right there. So what I would prefer to see is the market come in a little bit deeper, feel the imbalance, tap inside the zone, and then give me like a lower time frame setup, and then to target this imbalance. The second scenario will be maybe we're ready, we're just pumped down, feel the imbalance, and then from there we're gonna see what's gonna happen. So there are my two scenarios on EU. I am macro bullish, so bullish on the daily, bullish on the weekly. We're pulling back below the 50%. We're starting to get like a little bit of momentum right there, but again, we just have to wait for the right moment when it's ready. And how do we know if it's ready? Well, again, hourly time frame has to be bullish. So in this case, I would really like to see a lower low right there, because if that lower low is made, then it's going to be much easier for us to make a trend change and then potentially continue going up. Okay, so there are my two scenarios on your USD. Let me know, guys, what you think about it and what is your bias. So I broke down my trade during the Tuesday outlook, but it was a very simple trade. It's Fanatic Model 2, one of the new entry models we're utilizing. So pretty much it was taken, we do trade this system on the 5-minute time frame. All right, so again, it's pretty much like an Asian session range strategy as well, combining it with the overall macro objective of the market. So again, the market came in, took out Asian high, gave a little reaction, came back, aligned bearish on the 5-minute, took it from here, right? And pretty much the target was, so I took a 30% partial, as you're gonna see on my MT4 stats at around 1 to 2, because again, you always want to secure, and then the rest I took at 4.6R, somewhere down there for a 25 pips. So a very good trade. That's my only trade for this week. I'm very happy with it. It actually ended up running for quite a while, but again, I'm not greedy. I'm just taking my profits when they're available and calling it a day. So that's my only trade. Very happy with it. And yeah, let's see if we can catch something early this week, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and even Thursday, and then of course NFP. But probably I am not, because again, I'm gonna be traveling. I'm gonna be back next week, right? So I'm gonna be there to record the weekly outlook, and then from next week, I'm probably gonna be a little bit more active with trading. So that's EU. Let's jump onto EJ. Well, that is a strange weekly candle on EJ. I mean, it has a lot of rejection from the downside. It closed overall bearish, so we're gonna try to break it down on a lower time frame. But again, the thing is, last week we came in and swept this weekly high, and then this week we massively rejected. And you can perceive this like in two ways. This can either be like for you a trend change, but the market could be pulling back to really where this move initiated. And as you can see, we have a lot of imbalance right there, which has been kind of fulfilled on the weekly. So once again, it's a little bit 50-50. And again, the question is this like push down or pull back on the weekly in order to continue going higher, or is it like changing the trend? Because again, if you see right now on the daily time frame, right, the daily, for example, aligned bearish right here. So daily bearish, the market came in though, swept the high, and then again pushed massively down. So this is another daily break. Okay, so currently the daily range is this. Why do I keep drawing flips like this? Okay, so there it is, from the high to the low, we're above the 50%. I do believe we had news on the JPY on Friday, I believe. So again, you can see Thursday, the Euro news, and then Friday, the JPY news. So daily time frame, very tricky. I mean, we came in, we filled in some imbalance. So is it bullish? Is it bearish? I really don't know. And then if we just jump on the 40 time frame, well, yeah, it's clear what I'm gonna tell you. Give it some time and then just wait for something to happen. Because again, you can see like on the open, like Monday was fine. It went a little bit bearish. Then we just chopped around. Like since Tuesday, like all the way into Thursday lunchtime, or like the New York session, we chopped around, massively dropped. And then there is this candle on Friday, 3 o'clock. So that's probably like the JPY news. So like the volatile structure is this. So that's the volatile lower high, lower low. We came in, reacted, and right now we're coming back in to fill that big wick. Oh, but look at the, so yeah, guys, definitely. So giving EJ some time, let's just give it some time. Like, of course, if it breaks structure to the upside here, then you can look to like start aligning bullish. If it respects like this zone right there, although the 50-minute range is crazy because the 50-minute broke structure there, and that is technically your lower high. So again, I'm not gonna force it. Just give it some time, because to me, it's not clear on the daily. It's not clear on the FOH. So again, do I have any confidences? Do I have any confidence as well in this setup, in this particular pair? No. So guess what? On to the next pair. Let's have a look at the Aussies. So Aussie dollar, tricky as always. Like on the weekly time frame, again, we broke structure to the upside. We came back, we filled in all the imbalance, and of course we expected a new higher high, but the market did not make it. So as I keep telling you, if a higher low like this fails to make a high, it usually becomes liquidity. And I said like one of the outcomes is potentially the market to come back to seek this low as liquidity, and then maybe reverse from still this available demand right there. So is this what's happening right now? I don't know, because again, we are still trading between this low and this high. The market pull back below the 50%, it tries to push, it fails. So again, technically this is really good liquidity right there. And what I'm just gonna do is I'm just gonna minimize my zone below this. So as soon as we take this liquidity and tap inside this zone, we can start looking for hourly bullish alignments. Because again, on the daily, you do not have much on the daily. Like maybe a little detail is that there is imbalance maybe available here. So that is maybe somewhere where the market could potentially go. But currently, if you just spot the most recent momentum of the last 3 days, it has been heavily bearish. So dropping here, again, like usually tricky. chopping around, massive buy, sell, chopping around, massive buy, sell, right? So it pretty much developed the same. Yeah, you can see last week on Wednesday, it bought, then it sold. This week on Wednesday again, it bought and it sold. So it's kind of repeating the same patterns. And pretty much this is the last structure break. Your supply, I mean, you can take, for example, this candle right there. And yeah, then of course your next break of structure is going to be here. So a lot of things could happen on this one. A lot of scenarios. Like it can first break down. And then of course you can continue to follow it to the downside. It can start initiating some sort of a pullback, but then we don't know where it's gonna stop. So we just gotta wait for it, like, and then trade it in the lower time frames. Of course, you're gonna have imbalances everywhere, so you're gonna wait for them. And the third scenario is like just to drop, take out this low, fill in the imbalance, and then from there I would be really curious to see if we can get any long alignments. Okay, so there are my three scenarios. I always give you scenarios because again, I cannot just say right now the market is gonna do this and it's gonna go short. No, if somebody does this, I mean, he doesn't know what trading is all about. It's all about probabilities, all about scenarios, and again, just allowing for the market to show you where it wants to go and you giving your best to apply entry models to get with what the market is showing you. Because again, forecasts are a little bit useless, okay, but it's always good to prepare and potentially try to at least a little bit forecast what could happen. So again, when something happens, you are well prepared. So there are my scenarios. Of course, let's wait for Monday. Let's wait for Tuesday. Let's see how the market opens. Let's see what it does. And of course, we're just going to keep flowing with the market because again, as I said, I do believe this is the best skill you can learn. Flowing with the markets and reading market structure. AJ, it's also probably going to be a skip. So with the news that came out, it just massively dumped and it's still pulling back on the weekly. So yeah, the weekly time frame is bullish. The weekly time frame is bullish, and right now we're in a kind of a nice correction phase. The daily time frame also similar to the Aussie, daily low, daily high. It's pulling back all the way down. Like the last imbalance is right there, and look at that. We just came in and we almost tapped the 50%, so fulfilled. Okay, so right now what we need once again is like for the forward time frame to become bullish, so we can really start longing it with confidence. Because right now, like the forward high is this. That's our forward range, so it's technically shorts. So what is gonna happen on this pair? Again, I just don't know. Like this massive push down, it could pretty much like trend up, and then eventually break. So it can be taking longs on the 50-minute. Of course, it can pull back and get a short, make a new lower low, and then maybe look for a bullish alignment. A lot of things could happen. And with the JPYs, yeah, you can see once again, this is the 50-minute high, that's the 50-minute low, and the market is currently all internal. So what I'm probably gonna say for all JPYs, give them some time, let them show you what they want to do, get clear price action and clear structure that you really understand. Because if you jump on a chart and you go to the 50-minute, you're like, oh, like what's happening right there? What's the range? What is all this mess? You're gonna force something and you're gonna lose. So only trade when it makes sense and when you fully have like a yes trade. Like, do I understand this? Yes. Am I willing to take this? Absolutely. Okay. So that's AJ. I mean, AU looks much better. We just have to wait for it to kind of align a little bit and show us what it wants to do. AJ, give it a skip for now. Well, let's have a look at the NZDs, which are also probably going to be tricky. So what we see here is the market breaking down, then breaking up, but with a little wick right there. So it didn't really close above. And of course, right now we're tapping into a weekly demand zone. So what is going to happen? Of course, we're going to see on the lower time frames, dropping onto the daily. Well, you can see like the daily had quite a lot of structural liquidity right there. So these kind of flat lows, and you can see the last one was collected, which is a really good thing, because right now, if we start getting bullish forward structure, that could be really nice. The last imbalance also kind of got tapped at the open, didn't fully fill it 50%, but I do believe that is enough. So right now dropping on the 40 time frame, well, exactly the same as the other pairs, right? We're having this massive forward push down. And right now, what I would really prefer to happen is for us to make a low and then to cause a trend change and then to potentially start aligning bullish. So that is my best outcome. Okay, of course, if this doesn't happen, like we can continue pulling back like internally, pull back, and then maybe get a short. That would be good. Or from here, we make a low, and then maybe we also continue going down. Or from here, we make a low, we make a trend change, and then potentially reverse higher. So there are the three scenarios that I see. And of course, something completely different could happen. So hopefully again you understand, like as I give you those scenarios, it's all about like just waiting to see what's gonna happen. Because again, I can tell you right now, well, the market is gonna come in here and I get a short. And then the market could chop around, the market could break down, the market could break then up, then it could break down again. Again, you just constantly have to be flowing. So once again, this is what I do believe right now is happening. I do believe macro is longs. We took all of this liquidity. We're coming in to fill in the imbalance. But again, what I would really prefer to happen is for the forward time frame to become bullish. And it's going to become bullish if we make a new structure break to the downside. Then trend change, higher low, push. So that is what I would really love to happen. So I'm just going to throw this out there because that is, if this essentially happens, I'm really going to take this trade, for example. And if something completely different happens, then of course I'm not gonna take a trade. So you can use like forecasting like as a trading plan. So you forecast that this could happen. If it happens, you execute. If it doesn't happen, you stay out. But again, this way you're gonna be missing a lot of trades because like forecasting, as I said previously, it could be sometimes a lot futile. So you might not be able to get it right a lot of the time. So you're pretty much not gonna trade. So again, flow with the markets and just wait to see what's gonna happen. And yeah, pretty much NJ printing that massive bearish candle on the weekly, tapping inside demand, filling in all the imbalance that was there. The daily time frame is, well, the daily time frame is bearish in this case because we aligned bearish here, lower high, then we pretty much made a lower low right there. So currently our daily range is this, right? Dropping onto the hourly time frame, and yeah, the hourly range is this as well. So kind of similar to the daily, almost the same. So yeah, what is gonna happen once again? Well, give it some time. Give it some time. Preferably, like we can just continue trending up, break that hourly high, and then from there we can start looking for longs. Like, but that is if really the JPY pairs are gonna go longs, which we don't know yet. Okay, it could come in, react from the supply, and give us a short as well. Like we don't know, and again, that depends on fundamentals. That depends on market sentiment. We don't know what's gonna happen. So as I keep saying, flow with the markets and let's see what's going to happen. But that is my NJ outlook. Again, with JPYs, as I told you, they are usually going to be a skip this week until we get clear price action. Okay, so that's the NZDs. We looked at all the JPY pairs we're covering, and we know by now that UJ is probably going to be tricky. And yes, what we see is happening right now is we have an inside bar. So that is the motor candle and that is the inside bar candle. So we can be expecting a breakout next week. What direction does it make more sense to break out to? Probably bullish because again, like if you remember, we broke weekly structure here. And yeah, is this a higher low? I don't know. I personally think this is liquidity. Again, I don't have rules for the weekly time frame, but I do believe that could be a nice liquidity grab to come in and fill this little imbalance, which we didn't really fill fully, but just kind of tapped into it. And then we had this massive candle. Oh, actually what I just see right now is that we're having this candle and we have two inside candles of this candle. And then this is also an inside candle this week. So we're having a very big range happening right there. So taking this to the daily time frame, again, you can see like the daily is very, very, very tricky on UJ. Because it pretty much kind of caused a break of structure somewhere. Like, is it here? Is it here? Is it there? There is a daily break. And pretty much that's the daily high and that's the daily low. We pull back above 50%. We try to push, we fail. So when you have a massive daily range like this, it's all going to be kind of internal. So again, remember, daily high, daily low, we're bearish, but we're also pulling back into a weekly higher low formation. So I really hate it when it happens like this. And then if you just jump on the FOH, oh, wow. So yeah, this one was bullish, higher high, higher low, higher high, boom. Then it technically aligned bearish here. And then it went up, then it went down, then it went up. Well, yeah, what I'm just gonna say, just wait for clear structure. Like what happened here in this little couple of candles is just very tricky. Like if you just jump on the 50-minute, up, down, wicks up, wicks down, Star Wars candles. So again, just give it some time because this one even doesn't make sense on the daily and doesn't make sense on the hourly time frame. Like if at least we start having some breaks, like maybe the hourly time frame just to form like a clear trend like this. Like a nice like trend change, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. That's amazing if we have this. But right now we don't have it. We have some Star Wars candles. So let's wait for them to kind of break. Let's wait for clear structure, either like a break up or maybe a breakdown. And then of course from there, we're going to start adapting and seeing what we can do about it. So JPYs, guys, give them a skip this week and wait for them to develop a little bit more. So then we can get a little bit of a better idea of what could potentially happen. USD CAT, if you have been following me for a while, you know that this is my favorite pair. So let's see what is happening right there. Well, we have a very big cluster right there of consolidation. Once again, the weekly time frame took all of this liquidity right there. So it swept all of this liquidity right here, and it's tapping inside like this base demand, and it has been like wicking inside this demand for quite a couple of weeks already. So dropping onto the daily time frame, the daily time frame is also absolutely confusing because it went down, it went up, broke up, then here is the last breakdown. So technically the daily is bearish, trading from this high to this low. There is a little bit of imbalance right here, which is just kind of being filled fully. And you can see this cluster here since like 17th of July until today is going to be a very big range on the 4H. So, I mean, we can definitely like try to break it down. Again, broke up, broke down, broke up, broke down, broke up, broke down, broke up. Like what the hell? So again, the most recent thing that happened is we're breaking this high. Oh, what am I drawing? We're breaking this high right there. We have demand right here. So once again, if you just want the most recent structure, wait for a pullback, 15-minute alignment, and then go long. But again, is really the bias longs? Well, it could be, but the daily is bearish right now. So, and it has been chopping for 2 weeks right now. So again, what are we doing? I don't know. So this is my outlook. This is what is currently happening. But you can see like from past data, broke up, broke down, broke up, broke down, broke up, kind of here. It depends on where you take the structure, but I would personally take it from here. So for me, it would be a break, but if you take it from there, you can take a long trade. So yeah, there are probably some setups, but again, not to my strategy, which is why I hate this pair, because I usually never get it right. It just doesn't resonate with me. So that's my UCAT analysis. Let me know, guys, what you think about in the comments. Are we going to be reversing higher from here, or are we maybe going to create one more dip to the downside? Let me know what you think. Next on the list are the pound pairs. So starting with GU. Now, first of all, you know that we have huge news on Thursday for the pound. So the best thing to do is to try to catch a good trade on Monday, Tuesday, maybe Wednesday. And then, of course, Thursday and Friday with NFP, it's just going to be tricky. Okay, so be careful and plan your week good. Okay, because for example, as I told you last week, I really planned to take a good trade on Monday and Tuesday and then call it a week. Like this week, if you trade the pound, it's going to be the same. Try to catch a good trade in the first few days and then of course give it up, because Wednesday is most likely going to chop around in preparation for the interest rates. Interest rates are going to be very tricky, and then Friday NFP is going to be even trickier. Okay, so make a good planning. Now, the weekly time frame is still bullish. We broke structure here. We're tapping inside weekly demand zone. When we printed up doji, right? So perfect indecision. So let's see what the daily offers us. Well, the daily is still bullish once again. So daily low, daily high, pulling back. All the imbalance on the daily is filled. We reacted from here. We broke lower again. So it's probably grabbing some more liquidity. Right here, for example, as I told you, like I maybe went a little bit ahead of myself. So I told you, like, and we pretty much forecasted this. If the market breaks up, we're going to have an amazing uptrend. And like, yes, this is going to be the first target. That is going to be like the second target. And then, of course, all the way into the high. But again, you can see it doesn't always happen. The market took out the first one, filled in a lot of this imbalance, and just dumped. Why? News. Okay, so you got to be ready for the unpredictability of the market. So right now, similar to all the USD pairs, we're having a massive breakdown. We're having a new range. We're having a new imbalance. It's very, very, very strong. So once again, my big question is, are we going to be making a new lower low and then maybe a line bullish from the bottom? Or are we maybe going to reverse higher? Or like, I don't know, are we going to chop around? So once again, there is my first outcome. I would definitely see a short trade here. There is a very nice structural liquidity that could definitely be used for the market to grab and then potentially give us a long. So it's for the sake of forecasting, I'm going to say that we could potentially have a short trading coming. So again, the question is, how do we get in? Are we going to have a deeper push to fill that imbalance, or are we just going to flush from here? And then as soon as we break this low and as soon as we take this structural liquidity right there, that is when we're going to start getting ready for potential longs. So if I was trading right now the pound, what I would do is I would focus on shorts on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Hopefully the market gives us a push up, takes out these flat highs right there, and then give us a nice intraday setup short, right? You can even swing it to the lows. So that is what I would forecast right now. a lower low on GU, but again, the market could open and it could just break the high. Again, we never know what's going to happen, so don't forecast too much and just focus on allowing the market to show you what it wants to do, and then of course you flowing with that. Okay, so that's my pound outlook. I would expect a new lower low, then a potential reversal, and of course it depends on the interest rates and what the Bank of England are going to say on Thursday, so stay tuned for that. GJ, it's probably going to be a very tricky JPY pair, a big consolidation, massive drop, and a massive recovery. Weekly time frame is bullish. It filled in a lot of this imbalance right there, so is it going to continue going higher? Well, we don't know. Daily time frame is currently bearish because it broke structure here, so the daily range is this, but we can see like the last day recovered violently. But first of all, again, in order for me to start taking longs, I need to see a 4-hourly structure break, which is going to be right there. And as I said with the JPYs, give them some time. Like in this case, GJ is looking really strong. Like it's the only JPY pair well, yeah, there are others, but from the ones that we looked at, I think GJ is the only one that clearly closed above this like big 50-minute range. I think NJ also went a little bit above it. Yeah, but it's just like just breaking it like on the close. While GJ, you can see it's the only one that actually impulsed away from it. So there is a lot of bullishness kicking in on GJ, so I get a feeling we might actually close a break of structure up, and then of course from there you can start looking for overall longs. And if GU also goes long, then of course you're gonna have a good time longing GJ as well. So that's my outlook on the GBPs. Again, stay tuned for Thursday's big news, and of course flow with the market. I expected gold to move this week with all the news we had, but we're having another doji, we're having another consolidative week. So again, if you remember from last week, we had this new imbalance created. The market came in to fill it, not to the 50%, but still definitely crossed below the open right there. And then it closed as a doji candle. So nothing much to forecast. Like the tricky part about this is like, for example, the daily broke here, and then right now the daily broke down here. So again, that was potential daily range. But I probably told you that this could be used as liquidity in order for the market to fill the imbalance and then potentially go up. But right now, like if the daily is bearish, then that's the daily high, that's the daily low. We don't have any imbalance, so tricky. So just looking at it, it's tricky. And again, similar to all USD pairs, we're having this massive drop to the downside right there. So again, what's going to happen? I don't know. So there is the range, high to low. We can potentially reverse, go higher. We can potentially pull back, go lower. We can potentially just start flushing lower, fill that imbalance, then maybe from there reverse higher. Again, we don't know. So gold to me is rather uncertain right now. Of course, based on structure. A lot of you are just trading momentum. So like when you see gold like breaking, you just start scalping it, which is definitely, again, if it resonates with you, if it's your entry model, absolutely go for it. But again, to me, I trade based on structure, I trade based on supply and demand. And again, if first of all structure doesn't make sense, and if like the time frames are not clear to me, I just don't trade, because again, I don't have confidences. So that is gold right now. Again, guys, let me know what you think about in the comments. Personally, I would just love to see what is going to happen from here, because we made this massive bearish leg. We're above the 50%. The daily time frame is also kind of aligned bearish right now. So does it have more space to push down, or is it going to start pushing up from here? Let me know what you think about it in the comments. But again, as I always say, flow with the markets, don't marry any outlooks, and let's see what's going to happen. Indices continue to extend their gains. So we're having one more bullish candle on US 30, which right now actually formed a beautiful imbalance that we can look forward to be filled. And yeah, continuing to push overall to the upside. The daily range keeps getting expanded as well, because pretty much it started from here and we're continuing to push up. So once again, we have a lot of imbalance to be filling to the downside. Quality time frame, again, with what happened on Friday, we have this very nice bearish break. But again, it's a very big question. Is it really a sign for the market going down, or is it just like a liquidity gap for the market to continue going up? Again, just to recap, something that I have been mentioning for quite a couple of times to you guys. So a trend change is fully confirmed when you have like two structure breaks. And of course, the first one is going to be the trend change, and then the next one is going to be a structure break. So first, like if you have like the trend change, good. But then if you have another structure break, then you get a confirmed trend, because what could usually happen after the trend change is you might get something like this. Okay, so keep this in mind. Again, this right now is a first sign for a potential reversal, but that does not mean it's gonna definitely reverse. So it definitely has a lot of confluences for a reversal because we have a lot of imbalance to fill. We're definitely very high onto the range. We took out some liquidity to the left, so it has like a couple of things that could show us bearishness. But again, let's just wait, see, flow with the lower time frames, and yeah, overall I would definitely love to take some shorts on the indices right now as they're extended. So let's see how that's gonna go. But yeah, there is my structure. Of course, we can come in back again, then we can start retracing back, but I'm gonna be really mindful for us to continue pushing higher. So Nasdaq didn't make a new high, but kind of a bullish candle, so definitely overall bullish on the daily time frame. It didn't do as much, like you see, pull back, pushed, pull back again. Then we have the 2 volatile days, and probably the 40 time frame is gonna be tricky. So it came in here, made a low, then made a high, then yeah, pretty much that's the higher low. So yeah, this one was respected right there, nice to see. Came in, respected, a new high right there, but then it came in and swept what caused the high. So there is the liquidity being swept, and right now it's most likely going to head for this liquidity right there. So again, tricky on the daily, breaking up, breaking down. No, that's actually the 40 time frame. The daily was this. So I would expect for it to break it into the highs. If it doesn't, then of course we can look for a short. So that does not really align with US 30. That is looking like really shorts. So again, if you see US 30, this one broke down and it's very nicely correctively up, but this one kind of pushed down and then massively retraced back up. So again, there is a crack of correlation right there, which is usually not very good because indices move in tandem. So again, let's see what's gonna happen, but I really do get a feeling that we're gonna break above this high because we're coming in like very close to it. So it very rarely it's gonna happen that the market comes so close to taking out the high and it just like holds and breaks down. We had one occasion like this. Was it on the Aussie? No, which one was a? Yeah, on the, yeah, look at this. Like, this is a daily break. It came so close to taking out the high and it did not. And right now it's retracing all the way back down. So it definitely happens, like first to come very close to this high and not to break it, and then of course to reverse all the way down. So again, we either break up, keep following longs, or we either go down and try to follow a short. Again, wait for the market to open. Let's see what it shows us. S&P similar to US 30. I find that the S&P moves more similar to US 30 rather than Nasdaq. But again, one more weekly bullish candle, seeking that liquidity right there. So when is it going to get taken? We never know. On the daily time frame, it's still bullish. Broke the high right there. We had demand. It actually held. It didn't break it. But yeah, it kind of already wicked it up with that big push. Tricky. This one is also tricky because kind of the daily looks bullish, but the daily tapped in here, then kind of looked like it made a high, but then it broke massively down. So once again, the indices are gonna need some time with this push down. So is it gonna hold from here and fully reverse? Is it gonna break and then potentially for us to continue going long? So until we really fulfill that liquidity target to the left, we just gotta wait and see. Also, like for example, S&P has a lot of confluences for it to start pulling back down to fill in all the imbalance. But again, as long as we get some fundamentals, like something to shake out the market and to actually tell it to go short, we're just gonna keep longing. Okay, so always keep in mind the stock market is really bullish right now. Stocks are doing amazing. I'm looking for some drops to start buying back up again, but right now they really didn't drop, so it's already a little bit late. So again, we wait, we capitalize on our gains if you of course invest in stocks, and we just wait for the next drop because there is always going to be one. Okay, cryptos. Again, I'm just very quickly scanning Bitcoin and Ethereum on the daily. They're just still chopping around. Like Bitcoin, I'm still waiting for 27.5K to fill in that imbalance and tap below the 50%. And then maybe a long, but again, you can see these ones as well. Like they chop around, they impulse, and they chop around, and they impulse again. I'm not really a huge fan of them. Okay, so this is where I want to wrap it up. So let's of course throw a little bit of a recap. So again, we're after the Fed and after all the news we had. Right now it's slightly bit confusing. So the DXY, we have two scenarios. We either go down from here or we either tap in deeper into the supply zone. EURUSD does look very clear for shorts, right? So I would expect a short on EURUSD similar with a short on GU, for both of them to be making a new lower low. Keep in mind the JPYs on every single like JPY pair is gonna be tricky because of UJ and because of the news, right? Aussie dollar and NZUSD, they are a little bit tricky, but they still could have that bearish outlook. So if I expect like bearishness to happen on EU and GU, there should be bullishness on the Dixie. So let's see if like the Dixie is gonna actually hold from here and reverse down, or if it's gonna break up. If it starts to break up, then that could mean a lot of confidence for us to start getting short on EU, start to get short on GU as well. UJ, give it some time. Gold, also give it some time because it's tricky on the time frames. And again, when it's hard to figure it out, it's just hard, right? And pretty much that's it for next week. Let me know, guys, what is your favorite pair watching for next week? Let me know how you performed this week. Did you finish profitable? Did you screw up? Let me know what you did. Reflect on your performance. Of course, I'm gonna give you some tips, and I wish you a relaxing weekend, and I wish you a crushing week ahead of you. And of course, don't forget to take a little bit of a break, detach from the charts, because we're gonna come very fresh and you're gonna be killing it. So that's from me. Talk to you on another video.